Oh, look at him, fellas. You crying, boy? Maybe we'll go back down to McDonald's and get you a Wham-burger and some French fries. You little sissy boy!
Thank you so much for being back on the program. I know that you worked closely with Charlie and Turning Point USA. I know that you've had Turning Point USA activists like Alex Clark in for committee hearings and so on. And so obviously what you want is you want a respectful and open dialogue about the problems in the country. And you can't have that if people continually lie about what the problems are. And the reality is that the preponderance of data shows that the left wing is violent and militant and are perfectly able to excuse violence against people they don't like and then commit violence. How do we solve a problem like this, Senator?
Well, Benny, first let me start by offering my sincere condolences to you personally. You know, we all experienced loss with Charlie's assassination, but because you know him so well, your loss is just that much greater. So I'm sincerely sorry for your personal loss. From my standpoint, the way we battle these folks is with the truth. I just ignore Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch him. I think Disney was probably taking advantage of the situation because his ratings are dropping to eventually cancel him because of that. I think same thing happened to Stephen Colbert. So I think the hopeful sign here is you have alternate media. You're part of it. The truth has its own power. The lies are becoming so obvious from the left. As you say, what we do know is, for example, the left wants open borders. They are completely opposed to President Trump closing the borders. They are completely opposed to President Trump trying to deport the criminals. They have incited violence against ICE. They've incited violence against conservatives in general. President Biden basically viewed half of America as potential domestic terrorists. They've targeted way more than Donald Trump in their lawfare. I mean, Chuck Grassley and I released the list of close to 100 other conservative groups associated with Trump that were also targeted by a federal agency, weaponized federal agency. So again, these things we all know. Listen, it's going to continue to be frustrating because the legacy, the corporate media still has a lot of power, a lot of sway. And it is unbelievably galling and frustrating for us to listen to them tell those lies, to be so smarmy about their positions on these things. So again, I share your frustration. I always say nobody can out frustrate me, but again, we've got to be looking forward. We've got to listen to what Erica Kirk said. She talked about what Christ talked about. We don't respond to hate with hate. We respond to hate with love. And I think that is the approach. And I think that is the winning approach. It's the winning message. It's not the easy message. You know this. Being a Christian is not easy. It's never been easy. That's why we have martyrs. And Charlie is a martyr. I actually had a pastor on a telephone town hall that week, and I was just talking about Charlie and what I knew and the tragedy of his death. And I referred to him as the evangelist of two things. Of what made this country great, the principles, freedom, free speech, a free market system, and then, of course, an evangelist for his faith. And he died a martyr. And I actually had a leftist pastor on saying, he's no martyr. How can you deny that? So again, the left will continue to deny the truth. The left will continue to push lies. But we do have the truth on our side. And we have to take solace in that, quite honestly.
That's fine. I'll take solace in it when people stop dropping dead from assassin bullets that have left-wing iconography like written into them. Until then, that it actually is a Christian obligation for us, Senator, to wield the sword, especially those who have been placed in power like yourself, to wield the sword, according to Romans 13, in order to inspire terror in evil men. And that's what I'd really like for the federal government to do. I'd like for the federal government to disrupt terrorist networks that are domesticated and left-wing, and that is where and having an honest conversation about what the problem is, because you can't unite with people that want you dead, Senator. You can't unite over a lie either. There's no unity over lies. The lie is that both sides commit violence. That's the lie. That's what they're trying to push. That's what Jimmy Kimmel pushed last night. It's time for, I think, Republican leaders to have a very honest and muscular conversation about where the violence is coming from. Say it to their faces, and then do something about it.
Well, the first step in forgiveness is the person needs to ask for forgiveness.
Right.
I'm more than willing to forgive people once they admit what they've done and they're asking forgiveness. But just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean you don't punish them. Yes. We have a judicial system that relies on punishment as a deterrent, but also just in the sake of justice. So again, forgiveness is one thing. That's a spiritual thing. But we are here in a secular world, and we have crime, and we have murder, and we have assassinations, and those people committing those acts of violence, those acts of terror, those acts of evil do also need to be punished. Now, if they ask for forgiveness, sure, I'm more than willing to forgive them, but that doesn't mean I won't punish them as well and support their punishment.
Yes. So you've been working on, you're one of the businessmen in the entire Senate. Just want to ask for a quick update on what's going on with oversight, Russiagate, Obamagate, FBI, some of the more important investigations that you're on that perhaps I don't even know off the top of my head, but you're just one of the most dogged investigators that is trying to expose the corruption inside of our government, and at the very least, like, shine a light on it. And for that, we are thankful. Can you just give us a brief update?
Well, first of all, understand how dependent Congress is on whistleblowers. The deep state is deep, is pervasive, and no matter who is president, no matter who he appoints, like Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, in positions of authority, they don't know where all the documents are. They do not know what's being hidden from them. So we truly do need whistleblowers. And part of the problems that both Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are facing is you had a bunch of leftists that simply couldn't serve in the Trump administration. They resigned. They had to terminate a bunch of partisans. And because of the lawfare against good people like Judge Troupas here in Wisconsin, who just represented the President of the United States in the alternate elector case, they are destroying Judge Troupas. And so it doesn't take very many people to be destroyed by the lawfare from the left to make other people very reluctant to step up the plate and say, yeah, I want to serve this president for 3 years, but I also want to have a career after that. And I know how the left goes after us. So again, it doesn't take a brutal dictator, very many people, to hang in the public square before everybody kind of falls in line and just stays quiet. And that's a big problem inside these agencies. We don't know where the bodies are buried. We don't know where the documents are. As much as Bobby Kennedy or Kash Patel or Pam Bondi want to be transparent and provide this information to Congress, we need whistleblowers inside those agencies who know where the documents are to come forward with those documents, like the whistleblower that came forward to provide that information to Senator Grassley on the list of people that the Biden administration was targeting. So again, it's a tough slog. These investigations are not easy. People who do wrong cover their tracks pretty effectively.
We have that investigation that you just mentioned up right now. Grassley exposes Biden FBI for targeting 100 Republican groups, including Charlie Kirk, including Turning Point USA, including me. And so I just thank you, at the very least, for exposing this.
Well, again, and you do it kind of one step at a time. So here's one piece of the puzzle. Now we have to find out, what did they do to those individuals? What kind of investigatory steps did they take? How do they trample on the rights of those individuals? I thought, Turning Point was interesting. Anybody associated with Trump. The Republican Attorney General's Association was also being targeted. Again, this is beyond the pale. This should, of course, if you had an honest legacy media, this would be a headline. This is shocking to our democracy. But again, you got the legacy media. They're part of the problem. They are the communication arm for the radical left Democrat Party. So we just don't hear it other than on podcasts like this.
Well, we have a lot more viewers than Jimmy Kimmel, so we'll take it. I'm not sure that's the bar that we should be trying to reach, but you got to start somewhere. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your work on this. I can tell you exactly what they did. I mean, would you like to depose me right now, Senator? They went after my social media. They targeted me. My name is in all these documents. You can see them from the FBI and the CIA, Twitter documents, Facebook documents, and so on. They were constantly coming after our social media, constantly trying to take down my accounts with Charlie. My name was linked to Charlie in all of these documents, and they're trying to take all of us down. They succeeded in demonetizing, threatening the accounts, like putting us in effectively purgatory, limiting all of our reach. And then, of course, once they weren't able to take the accounts down, they resorted to more extreme means to try and take down Charlie. These demons, I guess their work is backfiring now, as this is the single largest apostolic event in human history, was the celebration of Charlie Kirk's life and memorial, and it will carry on. But anyway, the point is that like there's the list. It's real censorship. And so I got no empathy for the fake crocodile tears of Jimmy Kimmel crying about fake censorship when we are the victims of real, literal, fascistic federal censorship. But I appreciate you and your committee investigating this.
Well, again, we're happy to take documents. Again, Eric Schmidt, his lawsuit, which revealed all of these things in terms of how the Biden administration pressured these social media companies. Again, that's another piece of the puzzle. There are a lot more pieces of the puzzle that need to be assembled and obtained. Yeah.
Well, thank you. We've got a little piece of the puzzle here. Apparently the bullets, Senator, this is brand new breaking news. The bullets that were fired fatally at an ICE facility were engraved with anti-ICE messaging. Where have we seen that before, Senator?
We saw it, unfortunately, just recently.
Yeah. Seems like there's some type of connection. Boy, it'd be nice for the federal government to get really serious about cracking down on left-wing violence.
Well, I think President Trump will be.
Yep. You're one of the good ones, Senator. We really appreciate your friendship and your friendship with the show. Everybody follow Senator Ron Johnson right here. He's got nearly 700,000 followers. We want to make sure that we're pouring in and fighting with the people who fight for us. Godspeed, Senator.
Godspeed.